Hi everyone, welcome to Now I See on COIC. I'm Sherry Bahoum. Now I See is a dedicated program that takes us on spiritual journey of those lives who left the darkness of the world to see the light of Christ. Today, my guest is Anne-Marie. Welcome Anne-Marie, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So Anne-Marie, let's start with tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name's Anne-Marie, and I have four daughters actually. I don't work at the moment. Actually, our life at the moment is quite busy. We've just children have just moved schools, so I'm just helping them settle into their new school. We're moving to a new area to facilitate their move to the new school. So at the moment I'm not working, but when everything's settled again, I will return to work.
Okay, so let's go back to your life before you knew Christ. So tell us about your belief.
Okay,
or
so
your background.
I was always born into Christianity. I was born and raised Catholic. So I was baptised as a young baby. I grew up in a family. My father was a Catholic primary school teacher, and I had two older brothers. We often, we attended Mass regularly every Sunday. It was not an option. My father was actually an acolyte, which is similar to a deacon, and my brothers were altar servers, and my mother would actually be a reader. So on some occasions, or often, we would attend the Mass, and if my mum was reading, I would be in the seat by myself because my whole family would be up on the altar serving in some capacity.
So you were raised up in a strict Catholic family?
Yeah, for the most part. We went to Catholic primary schools and Catholic high schools, and that was, all I knew.
Then did you have any Coptic friends?
At high school, I did, at the Catholic high school I attended, looking back, yes, there were a few, or there was one in particular that I knew of, but again, I was completely ignorant. I just thought I knew she was Egyptian and Coptic, but I didn't know that her religion was any different to mine at that time.
Okay, but did you notice anything that was different about her?
Not really. I know that she spoke of her church community often, so I knew that she did have a Sunday school, and that her friends outside of school were all from her church. But I only have put that together now, since I've been part of the Coptic Church. I've thought more about her since then.
But were you ever invited to Holy Liturgy at the Coptic church?
No, not at that time.
No.
No.
Okay, can you describe for us your overall life before you knew Christ, or before?
Yeah, before coming to the Coptic Church, definitely. So through all of my parents' attempts, yes, I was definitely raised Catholic, but by a certain age, probably in my late teens or mid to late teens, it became something that it was my decision to not really attend regularly. For me, it was really just attending Mass on a Sunday, and it would just be 1 hour. So when I got to that age, it wasn't really cool, so I just stopped attending. It wasn't something my parents ever voiced if they were disappointed in that or not. I really can't say, but it just was my choice. It wasn't where I wanted to spend my Sunday morning, and I definitely didn't give much more thought to my faith from that point until I met my now husband.
So how did you feel when you took your decision to not go to the church again?
So at that time, I didn't realise it, but yeah, it was definitely a more empty time definitely less fulfilling than what life is now. And back then, when I had finished school and started working, you know, I thought what was important was my social life, going out, nightclubs and all that. I guess it was a rite of passage, and most, or not most, but I lived my life in a way that now that I have children, and I have 4 daughters in particular, no, I wouldn't want them to necessarily follow in those footsteps at that time. Especially now, what I can see and what I experience as a more fulfilling life in the Coptic Church, that is ideally what I want to share with everyone, but in particular my own children. It was a wasteful time. I was working, so you know that was a good way to spend my time, but any spare time I had, I certainly wasn't thinking about Christ, or I was, you know, living like well. I wasn't, you know, breaking laws or anything like that, but it just wasn't fulfilling.
You feel that there was something missing?
Now I realise definitely something was lacking, and definitely a sense of not loneliness, but you're always trying to feel something. So whether it's, you know, out with friends or, you know, just not managing my time well, not spending my time living life the best way I can. And yeah, I just think once you know how much more fulfilling life can be, looking back, yeah, was not a good way to spend my time.
Thank you so much for your time today. We will learn about Anne-Marie's acceptance to the Coptic Church, but in our next episode. Until then, I'm Sherry Bahoum. God bless.